And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the semi-finals of the Korean StarCraft League, week number 70. Whew. Welcome back to our fresh best of 3, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Pure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Dark. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Coming into this, I think it's going to be a harder one to call. We had a very intense, very clutch match between Dark and Bunny. But last Cure, he's a little bit less aggressive compared to Bunny. He's a little bit more macro-oriented. I expect to see a longer later game, especially here loading into Amygdala. I'm ready for it. I am excited. Best of luck. Best of luck, man. Best of luck. As a reminder as well, Beyond vs. Hero is also ongoing. I believe that is being covered by Chicken Man. That is going to be occurring in the upper semifinals. We are focusing on our match. Depending on which one is faster, we might be able to catch at the tail end of the other semis. Depends. Will depend on the speed of this series. For now, we are loading in, and again, we expect a bit of a longer one here. Even against Bunny, we saw Dark and Bunny go the distance, go all the way in towards Hive Tech, towards 4-base saturation. Cure, he likewise is quite fond of his own 7-minute pushes and 7-minute timings, so we'll see how hard and how crisply Cure can hit that. For now, though, standard opener. Standard opener out of Cure, likewise standard opener out of Dark. Nothing crazy, just hatch gas pool and just Rax expand out of our players. We're settling in, and welcome one and all to Amygdala. Amygdala is, as we mentioned, one of the larger maps in the map pool, is more defendable on your initial 4-base setup, just because the attack paths are quite limited. You can attack towards the south, you can attack towards the north side, but those are really the only attack paths available to you. It can be quite difficult to rotate between them as a result, and it does mean that you are more secure, at least early on in the game. As the game progresses, rocks get knocked down, and the map opens up. The map does open up quite greatly, actually, compared to what it once was. Once all these rocks fall, you can rotate much more easily, much more quickly, back and forth between the 4th, the 5th, the 3rd, the 6th base as well, and it can be much more chaotic in a longer game state. And I feel like we saw that, again, in the previous series between Bunny and Dark. And we'll see if we can get there. But now Reaper dips in, Dark takes the 3rd. This time we'll get it on location, on time. Not going to be delayed. Likewise, Cure going for a 3rd TC before starport. Economic build here by Cure. Getting up economically, calming things down. Coming into this, I mean, Dark, he is usually a regular when it comes to making it to the finals. What we expect here out of KSL is Hero versus Dark in those grand finals. They face off time and time and time again. Do we get that for the 100th time? They face off so often in these finals. Can we get there? Again, it's one of those things where the reason why we're following Dark in this tournament is because we don't know how much Dark we're getting coming into 2025. Like, he is kind of slated to do military service soon, TM, so we're trying to get as much Dark as we can while we can. We have to cherish our Zerg players here in this kind of era of StarCraft. No. Not like this. I think I posted onto Reddit our weekly summary of all the Open Cups this week, and I think we had I want to say it was Shin and Solar that made it to the quarterfinals in 2 separate tournaments, and I think that's the most Zerg we got out of this week's Open Cups. But hey, at least for KSL, we already have a Zerg in the semis. True. So already. Dark popping off. Oh my god. Meanwhile, before I get ahead of myself, my apologies. That was a sub 4-minute lair. Ay. That was a what, like 350-ish, 355-ish lair timing? Jesus. So with a fast lair, this could be a couple different things. This could be 2-base Muta. True, could be 2-base Muta. This could be Link Queen Nidus all in as well. Link speed is done. Only 2 gases are being taken. What do we go for? Do we go for a Nidus Storm? Do we go for extra gases for tech? Do we go for Overlord speed into a Drop Lord based all in? Right now, I'm leaning towards Nidus. I'm leaning towards a fast game state. Overlord is in position here towards the main, and Links are amassing. Where's the Nidus? Show us! We're waiting for the lair. But Dark, it looks like he's going for the all-in. Does transfer workers, staying on a low gas count. More Lings are building up, more Queens as well. And there it is, Nidus Worm is on the way here at the Natural. And he has that Overlord. He has the one Overlord across the map. One way or another, the game is about to end. Either he kills a Cure or he dies trying. Meanwhile, Cure did have a 3cc Banshee. Banshee is moving in for a scout to harass here at the natural, who should not get far enough in to get eyes on the Nidus, though. We'll see, the Banshee is still not quite moving in. Now, there is also a Ling outside of the natural, so there's potential for a Nidus Swarm on the front lines. Typically, Dark tries to create a distraction first before committing, because Cure, he is ready in the main base. He is set. Oh, he was. Oh no. Okay, we're good. There we go. Does spot the Nidus. He has Marines in position. He responds, and he will shut this down. Shut this Nidus Swarm down. At the same time, Lings, they hit the third base. There's a full wall here at the natural. Nidus is denied, and yeah, we're going for the Nidus here on the front lines instead. The Banshee does pose a threat, but Queens are on the way, and Dark, he's droning. He's droning up, but double Evos, he recognizes he cannot end the game. He will not kill Cure. The Nidus Swarms, they're barely up. Barely not going to finish. Yeah, they're not going to finish up. So Dark, he's trying to transition out of this. It's going to be a rough transition. But the goal for Dark suddenly becomes delay the third for as long as possible. Delay that third base. As Dark, he takes all of his gases. Double Evo Chamber, Infestation Pit, fourth base. But everything is late for Dark. Bear that in mind. Oh, that's a Mule Hammer. Jesus. So Dark is in a rough position. He's in a rough position. He's behind in upgrades, behind in tech, behind in economy, behind in bases. Did kill, was it 8 SCVs? 6. He killed 6 SCVs, which is nice, but he also lost 15 Lings, Queens, Nidus Swarms. It was a big investment from Dark, and the pressure is still on Dark to find some damage. Now, I believe he can. Dark, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. He can and will find damage, but is it going to be enough? Nidus back into the main. Queens, they distract here, knocking down that Banshee. Cure, he will respond. Yes, Stim. And Stim's in just in time. Nidus goes down. Ling Rumba here towards that third base. Once again, getting to the mineral line. Does a nice mining. Does a nice mining time, but not much more than that. Gets maybe 1 SCV. But this is still not good enough. You can see Cure now with a massive lead. Supply lead, I mean. And this is because of the failed all-in. Baliness is still not done. Even when it finishes, Baling speed is heavily delayed as well. Dark is in trouble. He is in trouble here. Coming in for an attempted surround. We have Hellbats to support. Lings on their own. They're not going to be good enough. Queens are pushing in. Queens are pushing forward. Hatchery under fire. Dark trying to hold on. Link setting up for a flank. Bailings are done. No Bailing speed. Hatchery goes down. So far, a solid push here from Cure. He's reinforcing. Cure, he wants to keep going. Does want to keep going. Bailing speed halfway done. We are rushing into Ultra Tech. I mean, there is potential, but it takes a long time for this to come online. He needs Ultra Cavern. He needs Kindness Plating. He's going to have 1-1 Ultras. Which is not going to be ideal. But, I mean, Dark, he has to cut corners, right? He has to do something crazy to survive in this game. He cannot play standard. Knocking down Rooks, potentially getting ready for a Link counterattack. Cure still rallying across the map. Insane counter by Cure. I mean, this is just his regular push. It's just his regular push here. Again, just because of how far ahead he is, that's why I think he's looking a little bit bleak. But here we go. Bailing speed is done. Link Bane, they crash on in. He does reset the tank count. Oh, and barely connects. And Dark will hold. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, my God. The Lings, they do not get on top of that final tank. The tank survives. The Marines, they stim forward. 0 Bailings left. And Cure, he's going in for the kill. He's going in for the kill. The Queens are running out of transfuse. Bailings are finishing up just in time. Oh, my God. Just barely. Oh, my. They connect. Yeah, massive connections. Whew. And Dark, he survives for now, but here come reinforcements. And the reality is here, the rally's getting out of hand. The rally's getting out of control. GG gets called, and Cure, he will take game number 1. GG. Kira will take a lead. Again, Dark, he was completely all in with that Ling Queen Nidus all in. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to get the Nidus up, and you saw that partway through that all in, Dark, he recognized he won't be able to pull it off. He recognized he would not be able to kill Kira because his Nidus worms were failing to get up, and so Dark, he tried to transition out of it, but when you're all in, you say that for a reason, right? You set so much of your tech, so much of your economy, so much behind late upgrades, late expansions, late workers, late everything in favor of that Nidus all in. And because of that, Cure, he just moved out and was able to roll over Dark. GG. GG, well played. Dark, he did make it close and he had some moments. Shout out to Dark again. He was trying to rush into ultras. That would have been a way for him to cut corners and try to rush into tech to try to survive. That is one of the things that you can do to recover. Either be hyper greedy economically or tech wise. Did go for tech there, but wasn't quite able to get away with it. Was brought down as Cure, he wasn't really too concerned about staying back at home. That's the other hope for Dark, is that if he was active enough with the Lings, maybe he deters Cure from pushing, but Cure, he had no fear. He had no fear, he just moved out, and from there was able to break through that defensive line. GG. GG, well played. Cure does take a lead, and now we're getting into game number 2. The map is going to be El Dorado. Let's go. Let us go. El Dorado is coming up next. And this is going to be a really interesting map. El Dorado is one of those maps that has a unique expansion pattern. You can take the northern base, you can take the southern base instead. Oh my god, as it looks like... It looks like the upper semi is already done. What the hell just happened? Like, our game was pretty fast, by the way. As a heads up, Hero versus Byun, they already finished. Those must have been some very, very fast games. Jesus. That was an insanely fast series. Again, this was an all-in out of Dark as well. This was not a long game between Dark and Cure, and Hero and Byun are already finished. Jesus. And that means, of course, Hero is waiting in the grand finals, waiting for the winner of Dark and Cure. He's waiting. So I'm caught off guard. Yeah. Hero, he already 2-0'd. He already 2-0'd Byun. Crazy. Cure isn't afraid of the dark. He's not. He's got his nightlight. He's good to go. Oh, my apologies. I just realized I've been using the wrong logo this entire time. My apologies. I just now noticed. I thought I had fixed that. Bam, there we go. Let me just double check all my scenes. Yeah. There we go. So we continue our series. And Hero, he has some downtime at least. Hero, he has some time to himself where he can ruminate, even watch the matches. And we'll see how this story ends. I'm hoping for an ace match. Personally, I'm hoping for a game 3. I want to see the ace match between Dark and Cure, but the pressure is now on Dark. Pressure is on. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of El Dorado, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0, and one game away from making it to the grand finals. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the blue Zerg himself, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. He needs your support. It is Dark. We go. Oh god, oh, thank you so much. Thanks so much. I'm happy you favor Zerg matchups to stream. Still got SC2 to watch in this semis, unlike those Terrans and Pros. I like those TVPs. I mean, that's typically what we do here on the channel. Like, I'm very self-aware that Zergs are usually not making it to the finals. I mean, even semifinals, to be fair. They're usually not making it that far. So whenever we cast a tournament, I usually, like, kind of key in on someone like Shin, someone like Solar, someone like Dark, someone like Eba, Nikic. I usually try to hone in and cover some Zergs while I can, just because I know that we're gonna get to the PvPs and TvPs anyway. Like we'll get there. Like we'll get to those matchups eventually, so I know there's no rush. There's no S to E. Ian is the Korean caster, by the way. Ian is a Korean caster. It's like he's whispering someone. But yeah, like I know we'll get those matchups eventually, so there's no rush. That's why I try to cover some of our Zergs early on while we can. There's no demand for PvPs or TvPs because we get plenty of them. What I will say though is that we have been deprived of TvTs for a while. Like I think I've casted like a handful of TvTs this year, like maybe 4 or maybe 5 at most. Like we cast StarCraft multiple times a day, every single day, and TvTs are also a rarity. But what I will say is that the reason for that is because Clem doesn't play TvT anymore. So like we've already lost like a potential like TvT matchup there. So we see just a little more PvTs because of that. That's also why. For now though, we are going to be moving out. A standard open out of Cura, likewise hatch gas pool out of Dark. We have seen Dark open gases on this map before, but he has opted not to do so this time as he goes for the linear expansion. Talking about the game itself here, it is not uncommon for players to try to mine through these gold minerals, and we do see Curie checks. He does check, just barely gets away, but Cure he is checking to see if Dark does take the triangular third. Dark has not, and Cure confirms. Curie's going to double check, and will get himself that linear third base, does confirm, and now can retreat, can rest up, can rest easy. And now based on this CC location, Cure he might be tempted to expand and try to take the gold. The gold base, the triangular third base. We'll see how Cure decides to take his own expansions. Going 3 CC into Starport. So economic builds here by Cure. Blame the Lambos and everyone else for not showing. Lambo, I mean, we don't typically see European players in KSL. That's not usually what we see. It's always a treat whenever we do. It's very rare, though. Very rare to see European players in KSL. Very rare. No, shout out to Dark and shout out to Shin for competing. Random wasn't allowed. In ESL events, you can play random. You can, for sure. You can play random. Don't you worry. I believe there was a rule about switching races mid-series. That there was a rule about. But playing random is fine, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we had random players in ESL Open Cups with that issue. Meanwhile, once again, fast layer. So my apologies, I was distracted. Once again, fast layer. This was a, I want to say like a 4:10-ish. This is slightly later than last game, but still a very fast layer out of Dark. Going into a second gases, going into a faster Baneling nest. I'm curious to see if this leads to anything, or if this is just going to go into fast Baneling speed into 1-1. As Curie goes to the gold. Now, if Curie's taking this gold base, suddenly an Arax is very viable. Araxes are very, very potent and very powerful here on El Dorado. The reasoning for this, an Arax 3-base all-in, oh no, he's going Muta. That's why he went for the fast layer. Oh god, so now we know why. Fast layer into all gases, 2-base Muta, essentially here, as he's getting his third up and running, taking all 6 gases. Jesus, very greedy here. Very greedy, rushing into Muta tech. Now, talking about an 8-Rax. 8-Rax is a 3-base all-ins. It's when you get 8-Raxes up and running and you stay on 3-base saturation without any gases. Now, the thing with this third base is that you have a boosted economy because of the gold minerals, and there are no gases on this side of the base. The gas geysers on the other side. So this is already just beautiful and perfect and ideal for a 3-base all-in. I'm assuming that's what Kira's going to go for. Right now, he's getting into 5 Raxes. We'll keep an eye on the production. If he goes for 3 more Raxes, he might just end the game. the power of an 8-Rax here and the abilities to defend against that, you have to heavily focus on Ling Bane. And going into Mutas, they do not help defensively. Mutas, they're a harassing unit more than anything. They do nothing defensively back at home. So I'm very concerned for Dark. Bearing in mind, Dark, he delayed his Evo Chambers in favor of the gases, in favor of the Spire, and in favor of Mutas. So his Ling Bane is going to be weaker for the Muta production. And do you see what I see? 3 more Raxes, 8 Rax. So it's going to be an 8-Rax, 3 base all in, as we did mention. So Kira, he is going to be committing. And this is going to hit like a truck. This is going to hit real hard, real fast, real quick. Now, the Mutas will hit first. And there is a chance, if Dark can buy time, if he can force Kira to stay back home, to waste some stims, to be defensive, to throw down turrets, and to be stuck, and to delay the push, then Dark can survive this. So these Mutas have a big job to do as Marines are revealed, Overlords are going down, and the Mutas where we headed. But now we're banking up. We have 7 Mutas so far. That is enough to one-shot SCVs. Mutas are making their way across the map. Darky checks for the Marine positioning. Does confirm. Does move out. There are plenty of Marines back at home. Kira, he has yet to scout this. And he is wide open here in the main. And SCVs are going to go down. So it does strike the main base. SCVs are going to be falling. Behind this, Cure, he is going for a 4th CC. Bear that in mind. He's expanding. Starts up a base. Oh. They bust into mid line. 6, 7, 8 SCV kills. Not bad. Getting up to 9, getting up to 10. Good start. Good start so far. He's pulling Cure back home. Distracting Cure. Mutas, they spot the production. They spot the setup. And Curie's stuck at home. Okay, stuck defending back at home. Turrets are on the way. Armory's on the way. Armory was delayed even, so delay on the 2-2. And Dark is buying time. He's spreading creep. He's droning. He's saturating his northern base. Building up his Ling Bane. It's still very much on a knife's edge. But Dark, he's holding. So far, so good. Ooh, but this is this is still a terrifying force. And Cure, he might just commit. He might just commit to the all-in. As he's trying to chase down these Mutas. And Cure, he is delayed. And Dark, we're morphing in even more Banelings. Again, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Dark. As Dark is maxed. Dark, he's maxed out. Going for another big counterattack. The goal here would be to knock down that depot, and then Lings, they can flood into the base. Oh, the Banshees. Oh, doesn't whack at them. Banshee does survive. Muta's going to be forced back. More Banelings on the way. Laying siege upon some of the production. And if you notice, Cure, he's not making SCVs. He's not making SCVs right now. He's making purely 10 Marines at a time, tanks as well, medevacs. Now, what's scary about this is that both armies are maxing, but Cure, he has a super maxed army. What does that mean? That means he has less SCVs to make up to allow for more army supply. As more workers are falling, 11 more SCV kills. Cure, where are we going? What's going on? Yeah, so far, Lings, they bust in through that front door, causing mayhem, causing havoc. 20 SCV kills. Getting a free tank, getting 1, getting 2, and make Cure, he's being picked apart. This army is doing nothing. Like, he has such a large army, and he's yet to do anything with it. He's mining through those minerals. He wants to try to break through, but there's Ling Bane waiting for him. There's Ling Bane in position. Dark, he's getting ready. Cure, he's trying to break through. I mean, this is a kill move. If he can bust into the natural and bust into the main base, he can end the game. That's a brutal choke point. Yeah, brutal choke point here. Banelings, they try to crush in. They take down 1 tank. Cure stimming on forward. You have 70 Lings in production. But does Cure have enough? Once again, making use of those minerals. Once again, shuts down most of the Ling Bane, but we have more Banelings finishing up. Dark, he has enough. He has enough. And Cure, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam here. Remember, he has no economy. He's muling his heart out. But Cure cannot sustain this. Dark trying to catch reinforcements, being so careful with those Mutas, never engaging with the main army. It's pure Marine now. And only Marine. GG gets called, and Dark, he holds, he defends, and Dark forces the ace match. GG. Dark does force the ace match. So we're getting into game number 3. Getting into game 3. And we'll see how this story ends. Oh boy, as again, Cure, he committed to the all-in. The Muta play was worth it in the end. It was worth it. We saw that Dark was able to buy so much time, cripple the economy, and just weaken that all-in over time as well, able to max out himself, build up his own Ling Bane. Dealt with it very well. A very nice defense there by Dark. Whew, and that leads us into the ace match. That leads us into Frostline. And we'll see how this story ends. This could still go either way, as we are loading into one of the larger maps in the map pool as well. So Frostline is a larger map, but has more exposed bases. I do favor the Zerg coming into Frostline. The reasoning for this is it can be very difficult to be more defensive and to turtle up back at home. The 3rd and 4th bases on Frostline are very exposed. Because of that, Ling run-bys and Ling counterattacks, which we have seen Dark use to great effect against Bunny, and even in the last game against Cure, they can be even more impactful and even more dangerous on Frostline. We'll get into it. We will get into it. Let's go. Let us go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frostline, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Liquid. Whew. Being forced into the ace match, it is Cure. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg. Tying it up, fighting back here and forcing the ace match. Can he keep going? Can he keep momentum on his side? It is Dark. There you go. Cure dead with a Muta Rush? Not at all. Not at all. Not against the build of Dark. Cure was in a good setup. What I will say is that Cure, his push was just so delayed. I mean, we spoke about it at the time. It was just heavily delayed. Even when it came to the rush towards the natural, like Cure, it took him a long time to mine through the minerals to gain access to the natural base of Dark. Like Dark had just so much time to prepare and to get ready and to set up for that 8 max. So really nice defense there by Dark. I say nice defense, more than anything, really nice Muta play out of Dark, as the Mutas were the MVPs. They were the reason why Dark bought so much time, why he was able to delay the push for as long as he did. Otherwise, it would have been over. But now we're getting into our ace match, and we'll see which direction our players go into. Again, as we mentioned before, the 3rd and 4th bases here are a little more vulnerable. There's a massive ramp coming into our linear 3rd. Likewise, 2 massive ramps coming into the 4th base as well. Because of this, I'm referring to Protoss and Terran players specifically, where they rely on SimCity. They rely on depot walls, bunkers, gateways, pylons. They rely on walling off and walling up. And we have seen many a Terran and Protoss fall to Zerg aggression on Frostline. It can be very difficult to defend these bases. They're not just exposed themselves, but they're also isolated from each other. It is very difficult to rotate between the 3rd and the 4th base as a defending player. Likewise, this center location is also accessible, so a Zerg player or a aggressing player can push in between the bases and even surround some of these locations, surround the 3rd or surround the 4th base. So as a result, I do kind of favor Dark coming into this, assuming we end up in that kind of game state. We'll see then. We'll see what direction our players do take. It's possible that if Cure is more assertive here, he might never give Dark the chance to go for counterattacks and to go for run-bys. Likewise, Cure could also attempt to just turtle up as hard as he can. Behind this, going 3cc. 3cc Banshee here is the go-to standard opener. We expect to see this here in the ace match as well. I mean, it's just very safe. It's just really safe. It gives you plenty of scouting information. It keeps you safe against roaches, gets economic damage, and leads into a 3rd. So there's a reason why we've seen this every game so far, and we should be seeing it again. So starport is on the way. is on the way. There's a tech lab into the add-on swap. Into Banshee. The Banshee is in production. Likewise, Dark happily joining. Now, every game in this series, Dark has gone for an early lair. Game 1, we saw like a 3-minute 50 lair timing. Game 2, we saw like a 4:10 lair timing. And for reasons, right? For good reason, I should say. Game 1, Night is all in. Game 2, Muted Rush. Game 3, what do you have for us? Do we also go for an early lair, or do we play Standard for the first time? That is yet to occur here in this series from Dark. He has yet to play Standard. This hasn't happened yet. As we go for much more standard lair timing. This is at 4:30. So 4:30 lair timing, this is more standard, so it's going to be lair into Banelings. He's going for delayed Evo chambers. He's going for a much more standard start. Okay. Now, the reason why this is safe is because this gives you early Baneling speed. So it means that, and likewise an early Baneling nest. So if Cure was going for a Hellbat push, then Dark would just be ready for it. It does mean that his Evo chambers and upgrades are going to be later than usual. So these are going to be later 1-1 upgrades from Dark. But again, just really safe play. Also gives you an earlier Overseer scout. As we get into this, a big shout out to Pili Babiga. Oh my god, it's been a while. I think I said this last time. But big shout out to Pili. Hope you had a great stream, had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time over on your own channel, whether it's playing the ladder or playing on the arcade. I know quite often we have some arcade streams over on Pili's channel. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great time. And welcome one and all to the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League. This is the semifinals. Semifinals of the KSL. If you're curious, Hero is waiting in the grand finals. So we're either going to see Dark versus Hero or Cure versus Hero. One of the two is up next. Meanwhile, we see what comes next for Dark, going into from his lair opener, so his lair first, into Baneliness, into 1-1 upgrades, into Infestation Pit. This looks like Ling Bane into Ultra. This is a style that Dark is very fond of. This is a style that Dark tried to transition into on Amygdala. For those of you that were here for Game 1, you would know that Dark, he tried to get here after a failed all-in. Here, with a much more economic start, he is much better set up for those Ultras, for that Hive tech. And we are waiting for said Hive. So now Dark, he's getting up to 4 base saturation. Cure likewise building up. There's that Hive on the way, and again, Ultra Cavern should soon be thrown down. Once it's done, of course. Once the Hive is done. From the set of Cure, we're getting into our 5-rack setup. Extra racks is on the way. Interesting. No gases yet. So Cure, he's getting up to 7 racks, is getting up to 8 racks, and I don't see any gases. This is the same build that we saw last game. So as a reminder, on El Dorado, Cure, he attempted a 3-base all-in, but he was delayed by the mutas. Here, 8 racks. 3-base, 8 racks all-in here by Cure. He's going pure Marine tank. No Marauders, no finesse here to the army, just pure Marine tank, rallying everything across the map. He is all in, and we'll see if he can break Dark before he can get into those Ultras. Is getting an extra gas though. Okay. Getting extra gas back at home. We'll see if he gets add-ons. If he gets add-ons, then if he takes another gas geyser, then he is most likely taking up into a longer game state. Now pushing in. Ling Bane coming in from behind. Oh, collapsing on those Hellions. Hellions gonna fall, tank as well, and Dark, he holds. Dark, he does hold on, he shuts this down, and you can see Cure, he is not making add-ons. He's still making pure Marine. He can make 12 Marines at a time. Cure, he is still very much so committed. Forced to pick up. There it is, you can see on the production tab, 12 Marines at once. It is 3-base all in, and it's pure Marine tank. Here we go. And so far, he hasn't achieved too much. He pushed in, he lost a tank, he didn't quite get the expansion. He's still rallying, the creep has yet to respread. As he's setting up for the next wave. Banshees, they deny mining, towards the top side, towards the 5th. And here comes that second push. Now, we spoke about the Ling Bane Ultra, there's that Ultra Cavern that we did mention. Again, this is Dark's go-to. There's Ling Bane into Ultra, but the Ultras, they aren't ready yet. And the goal here for Cure is to break Dark before he gets Ultras out. Because Cure, he's not ready for Ultras. Remember, he has no Marauders, he has no Ghosts. It's just pure marine tank. The base is going to fall. Oh. Kerrigan Survival 2 leak. Este Startup, you're an animal. Meanwhile, here comes a massive counterattack. Oh my god. 7 SCVs going down. Bailey's a crash into the bio. Breaking into the expansion. Dark, he busts in. SCVs are going to be falling, crippling the economy. An economy that wasn't large to begin with. And Curie turns around. Curie, he's turning back around. These things are getting out of hand. They're still taking down depots, denying mining time. You might be thinking, oh, but Curie, he was all in anyway, so does the economy matter? I mean, it matters even more. Because his economy was limited. It was a limited 3-base economy. And now even less so. Now he can't actually afford to make 12 Marines at a time. Now he's having a hard time sustaining his own production. He does rotate once again. Ultra production has begun. And remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for Dark. As Cure, he is not set up for a longer game. As Cure is all in. Lings, they flood forward. The wall is open. They bust into the main. They bust into the production. Mate, this is the kill move. Lings, they eviscerate the economy. 19, 20 SCVs going down. And Cure, this is all he has. This is all he has left. And the reality is that Dark, he can afford to lose a base. He just abandon the base. He can abandon location. Yep, GG gets called. We get no final fight. The writing was on the wall, and Dark, he will take the series 2-1. He will advance on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Similar to the last game, Dark, just mass counterattacks, mass run-bys, just crippling the economy of Cure, just disrupting and hindering the all-in. Remember, it is an all-in, but it's reliant on a 3-base economy. It's reliant on maintaining specifically those 3 bases to be able to afford those 8 Raxes. And alas, Cure, he was forced back time and time again. His economy was crippled, and the production was being camped by those Ling run-bys. And we didn't even get that final fight. Cure, he tapped out then and there. He knew he did not have enough to break those ultras. Did not have enough. GG, well played. With that, Dark, you'll advance on into the grand finals, and we have our top 2 players of this week's KSL. It is happening once again. Dark versus Hero in a best of 5. Let's go. Let us go.